Okay, there we go. Um, okay, so I'm not sure if I need to wait for more people or people will just watch the recording. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. It's advertised as a workshop, but I have max 30 minutes, so it will be more presentations. There will be some demos, don't worry. And you know what? Let's get started. And yeah, hopefully people will enjoy the recording when they will watch this. Anyway, let's start. So let me go in slide mode. And there we go. Just one slide to introduce myself. I'm Sebastian Blanc. I'm a developer advocate at Aiven. I will explain you what Aiven is in a few seconds. And developer advocate, basically, my role is to make developers happy. And how do I do that? Well, by giving talks, by creating content, and yeah, just by having fun. I want to make developers happy again. Anyway, so today I'm going to show you how you can build a solid production-ready data infrastructure, okay? Using only open source, robust products. Yes, we are going to talk a bit about data. I'm a software engineer. I know that code is really important. Software is really important, okay? You often hear software is eating the world, code is slow, etc. But the truth is that data is king. The most important thing is your data, okay? Your data contains your business value. If you lose your data, if you don't use your data efficiently, your business won't perform well. Okay, so but when we start talking about data, what does it exactly mean? What can you do with data? Okay, so you can do a few things with data. First of all, you can persist your data. That's the most common use case. If you take a simple feature architecture with a client, a server, and a database, well, the client, he puts some info, it goes to the server, and it is persisted in a database. Okay, that's really important, and you probably are still doing this. But what can you also do with data? Well, you can cache it, because sometimes you are retrieving some really, let me admit people here in the call. So sometimes you are retrieving really long responses from remote services, okay? And instead of doing another call to this remote service, you could use a cache, okay? So caching data is another thing that you can do with data. And hi, Rohit, we just joined the call. Let me continue here. What else can you do with data? Well, you can process data, okay? Data that you capture, that you retrieve from somewhere, okay? We will see that later. You might want to filter it, to aggregate it, to make some joins or to split it. So you want to process your data. And finally, your data, you want to stream it all over your infrastructure, and your data must be available anywhere in your infra. People or components must be able to produce data, to stream data, but other components must also be able to consume this data in real time if possible. So you can see data is just not persistence. You can do a lot of things with data. But let's take just one of those components, for instance, caching, and let's see what is needed to put in place a caching infrastructure, for instance. First of all, you have to choose one specific implementation. For caching, you could use a Redis, you could use, I don't know, InfiniSpan. There are a lot of different solutions. So you have to make the decision. Your CTO will probably make the decision, but you have to pick one implementation. After that, you have to choose where you will host it. Will you put that in a managed cloud service? Will you do that on premise in your own infra? Again, you have to decide. If you host it yourself, you will have to manage it yourself. And it needs to be reliable. Remember, data is king. It's really important that it can scale, but that it also is resilient to any failures. You don't want to lose your data. So you have to make sure that the implementation and the hosting together make it also sure your system will be resilient. And of course, during the lifetime of this component, you will have to upgrade it to newest versions. You will have to manage the whole security part. So just for one component, look at all the things you need to do. And that was just for caching. You have to do the same for persistence, okay, which database, Postgres, MySQL, I don't know, MongoDB. Same for streaming. Should I go for Kafka probably, or Pulsar, or RabbitMQ? I don't know. Processing, again, what should I use to process my data? Should it be Apache Flink, Kafka Streams? Again, a lot of decisions to be made. And where do I host it? How do I manage that? And that is just for one project. Imagine for another project, maybe it's completely different. There are other needs, okay, other specifications. So you have to do it all over again. That's another view. So imagine you need to do some streaming with Kafka. You need to do some processing with Flink. You want to do some analytics with OpenSearch, and you want to do some Postgres, some persistence with Postgres, sorry. And that is more or less what I said. You have to deal with access management, backups, disaster recovery, security updates, monitoring, cost optimization, scaling, okay? And probably maybe in different clouds, because yeah, some workloads, some data, you want to have them in Google Cloud, for instance, but the persistence, you really want this to be on Azure because they have fast disk or something like that, okay? What would it be if you could have all of this in one unified platform? That could be really useful, okay? And that is exactly what I'm going to present right now. That is what we do at Aiven. We are a data infrastructure platform. Imagine something complex. Well, that's not that complex, but you have a chat app that stores the messages into a Postgres, and then you have some data capture here into Kafka. You do some processing with Flink. Okay, you have some Redis for the caching, and then you have your workloads on Kubernetes, which is autoscope for this call. But all of these are components that you have to manage. If you have to do that by yourself, well, you can, but good luck. It would be nice if you could bring that into one platform. And again, that is what Aiven is. It's one platform giving you all what you need to do with your data in one single place. With a lot of options, no cloud provider adherence. You will see that in a moment. Just to sum up, this platform, we have more than 10 products, okay, which will cover for you the streaming part, the storage part. So storage is persistence and caching. The analyze part, so that is the whole processing part. And it's all based on open source products. The upstream version of those products are used. It's not a fork that we made and add some custom stuff like, I don't know, AWS could do with Amazon RDS, which is a forked version of Postgres, but using some other kind of stuff. Let me admit some people here. So it's upstream projects, only upstream projects that we deploy and that we maintain, okay? To which we contribute as well. I will come back on this just in a few seconds. Okay. The great thing is on the Aiven platform, when you go there, you say, okay, for instance, I want to create a new Kafka cluster, okay? The first thing you can decide on is on which cloud you want to create that, okay? You have the choice here between different clouds, different plans. It's your choice, okay? And at any point, if you want, you can move from one cloud to another. And you know what? Just by pressing migrate, you can migrate to a different cloud. Let me show you that I don't really like slides. You know, I'm a live coder. I'm a developer. that's my console here. That's my console here, my Aiven console. And at the end of this talk, I will give you a QR code and a link so you can create your own account on Aiven. It's free. We don't ask any credit card. You will get $300 of free credits. And if you use my link that I will provide you, you will get on top of that $100. So $400 to play with the platform. And we have a free plan for Redis, for Postgres, and MySQL. Anyway, that is my console here. I have a lot of servers running, as you can see, but let's imagine we need, we want to have a Kafka cluster. So here I select my service, Kafka, okay? And let's say I want to run that on Azure. Why not? I choose my region. So I'm based here in Europe. Let me see if there's something close to me. Yeah, France, that's where I live. Okay. And let's give it a name, Kafka live demo Sibi. That's me. I just hit create service here. And that's it. Now my service will be provisioned. Here I have already all the details of my service, okay? And in a few minutes, in 5 minutes or something like that, I will have my Kafka cluster running and ready for production. Okay, so if I go here back to my project, you can see I have a lot of other services. Maybe do I have a Postgres here that I can show you? I would just let me see, filter only running services I want here. Kafka November, that's Kafka. Oh, I have only Kafka. But you know what? While I continue with my slides, let me also create a Postgres, because why not? On Google Cloud. Okay, and I will call this Sibi Live Demo as well. Okay, I'm just creating one here just to show you how easy it's to create my sources. And the great thing is that all those services, they can have some integration together. And again, on this platform, we make it really easy to create those connections. I started with Kafka, and I believe Kafka is really the backbone of your data infrastructure. Kafka, if you don't know what exactly Kafka is a real-time streaming component where different components can produce data to it and other components can consume it. It's built for the cloud. It was invented by the people from LinkedIn, okay? It doesn't matter if you have 10 messages a second or 1 million messages a second, Kafka will be able to handle that. And it's resilient, you can scale. So if I have one advice, if you haven't learned about Kafka, take some time and learn Kafka. Anyway, let me go back to my slides, see where we go. So streaming, exactly. So I showed you here how to create a service, by using the console, that is the web console. But of course, there are other ways of creating your services. We have the console. We have a Terraform provider, which is really efficient, okay? We have a CLI in case you need that. Of course, everything is exposed as an API. And we also have a Kubernetes operator. I'm a big fan of Kubernetes. And seriously, the Aiven Kubernetes operator is awesome because you create your resources and then you just apply this resource on your cluster and the cluster will create your managed services on the Aiven platform. And you have benefits like the reconciliation loop from Kubernetes. So if someone changes something on your Kafka cluster, okay, your Kubernetes cluster will detect that and just change the state so it always matches the desired state that you have applied on your cluster. Okay, so this is more or less a recap of the platform that I showed you. And let me see the time, 15 minutes. Yeah, I want to spend some time on the demo. I have a small demo that I will show you in a few seconds. Okay, just a few bits about open source, because open source is really has a special place in my heart. You know, I spent 10 years at Reddit before joining Aiven, so Reddit. So open source is really important for me, and it's also really important for Aiven. We have dedicated engineers working on the upstream open source projects, focusing on adding features and fixing bugs, reviewing PRs, growing the community. Okay, so on which project do we contribute at Aiven? We have core committees on Kafka, on Postgres, on Flink, on Clo. Clo is a governance tool for your Kafka. On OpenSearch, for those who don't know what OpenSearch is the open source fork of Elasticsearch. Okay, Cassandra, pretty famous. You know, it's used by Facebook, by Meta, and ClickHouse. ClickHouse is for analytics. It's such an incredible product. Okay, if you have never heard about ClickHouse, at the end, use my link, create an account, and start playing with ClickHouse as well. But first, play with Kafka because that's the most important. Let me go here. So again, I will jump to the demo. I will come back to this slide, take a picture of that. Let me see if I can grab that. Let me paste that in the chat there for people that are in the chat, but for the people in the recording, you can go there. It's pretty easy. You can take a picture from, you can go to this QR code or go to go.aiven.io/Sebi sign up. And that's it. In a few clicks, you will get your account. And please use this link that will give you some extra credits. Okay, so now I would like to do a small demo to show you how Aiven can help you. Basically, what I have deployed for this demo, let me go back here to my console. I have a few services here. I got one Kafka social scrapper. I call it social scrapper. Okay. I have a Flink to do the processing. I have an OpenSearch. And I have a Kafka Connect. I will explain you a bit later what a Kafka Connect is. Okay, so I have here 4 components that will manage my data. And what are we going to do exactly? So it's time to watch some code. I don't know if there are any developers here in watching the recording, but anyway, here I have a small Python script. Okay, I'm a Java developer, but that's a demo from a colleague of me, and he say, "Hey, Sebi, you will see it's pretty simple." Yeah, it's a pretty simple script, a Python script. We can see here we are using the Kafka client. Okay, we can see some stuff about Mastodon. Okay, so what we are going to do? First of all, we want to connect to our Kafka cluster that we defined. Okay, and look at these other things. I have defined here a list of 4 different Mastodon server. And basically what I want to do is create 4 processes, 4 different processes for each of those servers, scrap all the messages from the public timeline, get all the content, and send that to Kafka. Each message will be a Kafka message. Okay, so I won't go into the script, but what we can see here is we are going to send that to this server. Okay, it's secured using some certificates here. And the other thing that I would like to show you is to show you to which topic we will be sending this. Because in Kafka, it's divided in different topics. Okay, Kafka topics. We will send that in a topic called raw input. Okay, this topic already exists. Let me just show you that. If I go here to my Kafka social scrapper, so here are all the details of my service. I can go to topics. I have a few topics here. I have raw topic. And if I retrieve the messages, let me fetch the messages. Not all of them. Okay. The code here, I can see that I already scrapped some previous messages. Okay. Hopefully there's nothing weird in that because I'm just scrapping the timeline. Okay. But you can see here we have 362 messages. Okay. What I'm going to do is to start the scrapper, and we should see new messages flowing into this topic. So let me go back here to the code and let me start this. Python 3, threaded fetcher, there we go. And look at this. This is all data that we are scrapping from those different Mastodon servers here, those here. And we are sending that to my Kafka. And once it's in Kafka, I can do whatever I want with it. Kafka, try to imagine that like a river of data that flows into your infrastructure, okay? And all the data is there, and it's a magic river. Anyone can produce data into it or consume data from it at any point in time, okay? So let me see, it's still scrapping stuff. Let me see here, there we go. So if I go back here, we were at 362. Let me refresh. See, and we should have a bit more if I fetch the messages. Row input message. 1 of 2 page. Oh no, it's the number of pages. So that's why I don't see it. Let me see. Let me see if the data is floating in. Yeah, the data should be floating in. There's maybe some delay here. Let me see. If I go to page 2, page 3. Okay, I'm not sure why I'm not seeing more messages coming in. It should, but you know, Demo Gods likes to play with me a lot. Row, social scrapper. Am I in the correct topic? Yeah, row topic. It's there. So, but it should work. It's probably a problem on the console side, but my data is still floating in. Okay, you can see floating. Okay, so what can I do now that I get all this data in Kafka? Well, again, I can do whatever I want. I could have a workload consuming this topic, and I don't know, check for special hashtags or stuff like that. I could clean the data. It's really important to have clean data. And basically, this is what I'm going to show you next. So we have this Kafka topic here, where the raw data, where the data is floating in. Okay, so I was maybe fetching from the wrong from the wrong partition. That's probably what I did. Oh yeah, there are different partitions. Sorry, so I was showing you just one partition. Let me show you the second partition. Partition is basically a log file. A topic is divided in partitions. You decide how much partitions you want. Okay, I made 3 of them. So here are some messages, and okay, that's fine. Okay, so messages are probably floating in a new partition. Anyway, if I go back here to my project, I have another component here, which is called Flink. So Flink is the best processing stream tool out today. It's open source again, and basically it can take any Kafka topic, do transformations, and I need to admit people in, okay? Basically, it can take any data from Kafka, but also from other sources. It can process the data real time and send that filtered data or aggregated data back to another topic. And that's what I did here. A really simple example that I will show you in my scrapper. So the concept of Flink is pretty simple. You have a source table. It works with table. So the source table is where your data come from. So if you take a look at the view, I create just like SQL, and I can write SQL with Flink. I create a table that are all the fields that I can find back in a Mastodon message, okay? And basically at the end here, I say, hey, it's a Kafka connector, and you should read the data from raw input, okay? That's a topic that I just showed you before. So that will make sure that my Flink table, my source table, is fed with the data from Kafka. And then I have a statement, okay? And in the statement, here is where I can do some filtering, aggregations. Here, I just do a really simple thing. I say, hey, insert into another table, just post table, which is here. I will show you that. And I just remove some fields, okay, that are not necessary for my processing. I just remove them. And I say, hey, take them from the post table. So from this table. And then I have my sync table where I send my data to. Okay. So again, a pretty simple table here, as you can see. And the interesting part here is I say again, Kafka, but this time I want to send that to another topic called post cleaned. So because that's where I send my clean data. Okay, and that's it. I deploy that and it will just process real time all my topics. Here it's pretty easy. It's a simple topic. It could be way more complex with way more traffic, and it would just work the same. So if I go back to my project and I go back to my Kafka, my Kafka here, social scrapper, okay, and I go to my topics, you can see here that I have a post cleaned topic as well. If I retrieve the messages there, let me see, fetch messages, and I have 700 and something messages. So exactly the same. I just have removed some fields, but I have the content of each Mastodon message, okay? And that is cool. So that's the first thing. I can process in real time. Remember, we are scrapping those 4 servers in parallel, okay, and sending everything to Kafka. And from Kafka, we send that to Flink, and Flink do some processing on the data, all on real time. Sorry, I get a cold lately, so let me see. Fetch messages. And so that is one thing we can do. The other thing we can do, since we have Kafka, is make use of Kafka Connect. What is Kafka Connect? So Kafka Connect is another component that you can put in front or behind your Kafka service, and it can do a lot of things. Let me go to my Kafka Connect server here. And what you have the concept of connectors, okay? I have one connector here. I will come back on that, but just to show you what you could create as connectors. You have sync connectors. That means that I'm reading from my Kafka topic and I want to send that somewhere else. I would like to send that to a Couchbase, for instance, or to Google Cloud Subsub, to Splunk, and I have also other integration like sending that to Datadog or stuff like that. And I have source connectors. These are my preferred one. This time I tell Kafka Connect, hey, listen, for instance, to look at this one, it's called DBs in Postgres. Listen to this database. Every time that there is a new row added or updated or deleted, please capture that for me and create a Kafka record for it and put it in a topic. This is really powerful because that means that even if you have your old school system where you have your client server database, you can still point this Kafka connector to the database, capture events, and once it's in Kafka, well, you can do whatever you want. If you plan to do event-driven architecture, okay, and that's probably the way all the architectures are going to be in the future, okay, well, that's a really good option to consider. But for my demo, what I did, I used a sync connector. That means I'm taking data from one topic and I'm sending it somewhere else. In this case, I'm sending that to, let's go back here to my connectors. I have to the OpenSearch sync. That means that I'm sending all the data to OpenSearch. Remember, OpenSearch is a fork of Elasticsearch, open source, okay? So basically, I'm taking all my Mastodon messages, I clean them up in Flink, I put them in a new topic called post cleaned, and then this connector, I say, hey, go in the post cleaned topic and send all the data to OpenSearch. Okay, and what can I do with OpenSearch? Well, I can search for data. I can create visualizations and stuff like that. So if I go here to my OpenSearch dashboard, I can do a lot of stuff. But if I go here for, let me do, for instance, select count star star from posts cleaned. That's the name of my index. It's the same name as my topic. Okay. And I run that. Whoa. Ooh, and I'm disconnected. Okay. Could happen. Not a big deal here. Let me go back to my OpenSearch, to my dashboard. Let me grab the password here and let me connect. There we go. Okay. Here I run that gives me all the indexes. Okay, post clean, that is what I'm interested in. So if I do a select count star from post clean, okay, I should have some number here, okay, 11,000, sorry, entries, okay. And since my process is still running, if I run it again, look at this. That's working because, look, here, I'm still scraping the data, okay? Sending it to Kafka. From Kafka, it goes to Flink. It cleans it up. It sends back to Kafka in another topic. And from this topic, I send everything back to OpenSearch, okay? And if I run it again, it should be even more higher, you see? So, and if I do, I don't know, select content from post clean, run. Okay, I see here a lot of data. And so I'm not a, let me confess, I'm not a, I'm not an OpenSearch or Elasticsearch expert, but we could search for, I don't know, let's try that. Let's find all the content where content like contains a hashtag, for instance. Would that work? We will see. Run. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because it shows me this. Okay. Maybe I need to put 2. I don't know. I'm not good enough in SQL, but let me run that. Okay. I love the way you hashtag. So it works. I can look for hashtags. Okay. I see here Windows. So the same if I do a search on, and here I'm just showing you the query part. OpenSearch is way more powerful than that. You have clients, of course, for Node.js, for Java, for Python, and that's where we will be using consuming your OpenSearch. Okay. If I search for Windows, okay, you just found 2 topics here. Okay. Probably because I rerun the same topics, so there's some stuff that is in double in my OpenSearch. But basically, this is what I wanted to show you. In a few clicks, I created my components: Kafka, Flink, OpenSearch, okay, Kafka Connect, some configuration, which is pretty simple. A simple script here that scraps my data, that sends that, and then I can do whatever I want. Imagine how powerful that can be for other stuff. I don't know, if you monitor some, I don't know, some crypto coin and you have to retrieve the value, you want to do some analytics on it. That could be a perfect use case. Okay, I'm already beyond the time that was allowed to me. Before we end this call, let me show you this again. Okay, so please go here and create an account. Okay, it's free. Let me put that here. And basically, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. And people that will watch the recording as well. There are a few people joining, so thank you for joining. I will stop, first of all, my share, and then I will stop my recording. Stop the recording. I stop the recording, and I wish you a happy day, night, wherever you are. And thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you.